Hey guys, this is Tyler from Jocko Productions, and I am here today to celebrate what is at this time the longest running franchise, tied with the MCU, currently having 27 movies. The film franchise has a long legacy and is a kinship to many. And today I will be ranking 007's entries, with the newest entry coming out being apparently the last of an era, No Time to Die. I don't think this one needs an explanation. A View to a Kill is by far the worst in the series. It is the one that I probably enjoy the least. And this film truly seems like it's not even trying. The actor seems disillusioned. There's nothing spectacular or special about the directing, the glamour, the characters, or the villains. This movie could have been better, but it seemed like it was always doomed to fail. I give this film a 3.6 out of 10. By far the worst in the franchise because it barely even tried. There's nothing impressive about it, and it could have been so much better. But this film does have a slight hurrah from Roger Moore as the last James Bond, and can be slightly fun at some moments, but bittersweet. At number 25, we have Never Say Never Again. I should be the right person to enjoy this movie, but I just don't. I find it very bland, and Connery's acting in this movie kind of bothers me because he doesn't seem as classic, as sincere, as raw as he did in the other films, but he still does a good job. There is still some fun to be had with this movie, but I find it quite bland and pointless. I do not like how they executed the plot as well as they did in Thunderball, because I love Thunderball. And yeah, I find this movie pretty bland, but it works well enough, which is why I give this film a 4.0 out of 10. Number 24, we have Octopussy, a overall lackluster, boring, and disappointing film. There's not much I could say about it. It is a very disappointing film with not much entertainment value, and is very much a product of its time, which holds it back a lot. Overall, I give this film a 4.5 out of 10. Die Another Day was such a promising film, and its tone, goals, and its abilities and where they lie becomes evident once a Madonna pop song starts playing over Bond's prison break. And the film is overall just pretty terrible. It is not entertaining at all. It is pretty gross, very mediocre. The CGI is terrible. The action scenes aren't thrilling. No sign of character development, plot, or story whatsoever. The film is just a slog to get through. And because of these reasons, I give this film a... And I still find it slightly more entertaining than the other films. As much as it pains me to do so, I put Live and Let Die in our 22nd spot. The film is overall boring. It doesn't entertain me, and it's a little off-putting at times, even though it is classic Bond and Roger Moore's first entry, which he isn't bad in. I don't like it. It's even parody by the Archer Season 1 poster, and I love Archer Season 1. I love so many things about this film, but it's not good enough for me. It's almost everything it needs to be, but overall, I give it a 5.9 out of 10. Being another disappointing and lackluster entry in the series, The World Is Not Enough disappoints. Its action scenes are entertaining, and it tries to flip the formula, which is a great idea, but ends up ruining the focus of the film. And because of this, I give this film a 5.9 out of 10. The Man with the Golden Gun is a fun concept and a classic film, and is mostly and actually entirely saved by Christopher Lee's phenomenal performance as Francisco Scaramanga. Overall, this film doesn't do anything too remarkable. It's not too great, but it's entertaining. I give this film a 6.2 out of 10. With a huge quality leap from The Man with the Golden Gun, Diamonds Are Forever is a fine film. It does the formula perfectly, and it's just a fun, classic Bond film, and nothing really else. I give this film a 7.0. At number 17, we have Quantum of Solace. Honestly, this film could have been great, and I like it quite a bit. It is not this film's fault that it is as badly received as it is. And it's very impressive and something very noticeable that this film was still able to be okay. since it barely had a proper filming process, a proper production, with the writer's strike, with the lack of a vision, and with having to rush it. It's impressive that this film was still able to turn out pretty okay. This film was rushed, and it feels rushed, but it feels like something great could have been there. There was barely a plot, and there was just major story beats from an unfinished script. And if these were those story beats done unsuccessfully, imagine what this film could have been if it was done properly. This film feels like a worthy successor to Casino Royale. There are plenty intricate and well-framed shots and some intense, invigorating action. But for every one of those, there's a bland shot. There's a bland action sequence. The plot could have been cool. This could have been a great story, a great follow-up to Casino Royale, the perfect adventure, revenge kind of Bond story. So many characters could have been developed. There could have actually been a central villain. This film could have been so good. Bond could have tackled very deep character growth. And yeah, this film could have been great. But for what it was, it's fine. Just fine, and you can see the greatness throughout the film that was sprinkled in and seeded. And also the car sequence at the beginning was pretty cool. Because of this, I am forced to give this film 7.4 out of 10. Coming in 16th place is For Your Eyes Only. I just really like this film. I love how Roger Moore just goes for it. I love how it's a change of pace from other films. I enjoy its tone, character development, and how it's a sequel to Her Majesty's Secret Service in a way. I give this film a 7.8 out of 10. Coming in 15th place is You Only Live Twice. This film is a classic. I have more fun with it the more I rewatch it, and it does have some good character work, and it does feel epic, and is the over-the-top spy movie that you want from the Bond franchise. Also, the volcano sequence is awesome. I give this film an 8.0 out of 10. Coming in 14th place is Moonraker. This film was also such a classic, but not a classic film like a classic Bond film. It's an essential Bond film, and I think it perfectly balances all the elements of what makes Roger Moore's Bond film so charming. Even if it's campy and over the top, I do enjoy this film a lot. I give this film an 8.3 out of 10. Coming in 13th place is License to Kill. Overall, this movie is just a lot of fun. It is very underrated, and I'm underrating it here, but I feel like I had to give certain films a higher spot than this. But License to Kill is great in its own right. I give this film an 8.6 out of 10. In 12th place is The Spy Who Loved Me. This would have been a top 10 film if I didn't want to express my opinion for other films. I think this is the defining Roger Moore film, and one of the best, most fun, and classic Bond films that perfects the formula and is just a lot of fun and is a perfect introduction to the franchise. I give this film an 8.7 out of 10. Coming in number 11 is Thunderball. Honestly, this is my favorite Connery movie. I just have a lot of fun with this and think it defines the wacky side of Connery's films the best. And the plot is a lot of fun, so is the action, and it really does feel like an action-packed Bond film for the 60s. I give this film an 8.8 out of 10. Coming in number 10 is The Living Daylights. I just really love Dalton, and this film is a great refresher and a good action film. I give this film an 8.9 out of 10. Coming in number 9 is Spectre. My opinion honestly questions this choice, but I really like this film and think that even in spite of all of its shortcomings, it still provides a great Bond experience for Daniel Craig's Bond and a fun ride. It is a more classic look at Bond for Daniel Craig's Bond franchise. I just wish it wasn't such a sudden turn and an inconsistent drop in quality in the character department. Overall, there's a lot of love that I can give to this film, and the pre-title sequence is unmatched. It is a more classic look at Bond and a good contrast to other Craig films. I give this film a 9.0 out of 10. Coming in number 8 is No Time to Die. Where do I start this one? This is both the most disappointing Bond film ever and the one that I wanted. The film has some great spy play, some great gadget work, some great switching between tone, and a great blend between all the Bond flavors. And with Daniel Craig on screen portraying this version of Bond is just amazing. The film does have a good character arc, an okay villain, and a solid plot with phenomenal direction. But the film isn't a good send-off for this version of Bond. But I did enjoy the ride. I give this film a 9.1 out of 10. Coming in 7th place is Goldfinger. Many people refer to this film as the best Bond film, the most classic Bond film, the essential Bond film, and the perfect Bond film. I do not think it is any of these things. I was not as amazed watching this as many others, and I do not think that it is the best Bond film. Though I do not like this film as much as other people, it is a defining Bond film, and the defining Bond film because it perfected the formula and set the standard for Bond films to come, even though I think that many other films have beat it. And since it perfected the formula, it would make sense to refer to this film as the perfect Bond film. I give this film a 9.2 out of 10. In 6th place is Skyfall. Great writing, great direction, a great situation for Bond to be in. Honestly, this film is in the top 50 best blockbusters of the last decade. Too bad it ripped off The Dark Knight. I give this film a 9.3 out of 10. Kicking off the top 5 is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Honestly, I just like this one. I think it's underrated, and yeah, this film has some great stuff. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. In 4th place, we have Dr. No. A classic in every right, this film holds up so well in every aspect. A great film in pretty much every aspect. I like it more every time I watch it. I give this film a 9.6 out of 10. Kicking off the top 3 with the top 3 is From Russia with Love. It's just classic Bond charm. Easy the best Connery film. I give this film a 9.7 out of 10. Is Casino Royale. Casino Royale is just a great movie with great filmmaking. It is good in every right. It established Bond with new stakes never seen before, with a gritty tone and an actual character arc that promised a better future for Bond. I give this film a 9.8 out of 10. The number 1 spot is rightfully GoldenEye, the ultimate Bond film. This film has everything you want from a Bond film. It strikes a perfect tone between a gritty morality play, an action thriller, and over-the-top Bond films of the past. I give this film a 10 out of 10. Not because it is perfect and not because I find little flaws with it, but because it is the perfect film experience for me, earning it a 10 out of 10.